This community program would not be possible without the financial support of our corporate sponsors and community members. Tri-Cities Community Television would like to especially thank the cities of Port Moody, Coquitlam, and Port Coquitlam for their belief and support of community television. If you wish to be part of our volunteer team, become a sponsor, or make a financial contribution to support community programming, please feel free to contact us at the following locations. This is Patrick McCarthy reporting from Tri-Cities Community Television in beautiful downtown Port Coquitlam in Lee Square. Today our show is focusing on the knowledge worker, or as most people know, the .coms or the technology companies in our area. And in the Tri-Cities we sometimes are surprised that we have a lot of knowledge workers or technology companies that are changing the world in their small ways. Today we have with us Jason Hanley from Rumie, and Rumie is an enabler of distant learning in some very interesting places. I know we chatted over coffee, and now this is our new coffee room, but can you just give us a little sense about what Rumie is doing? And I guess some people will be very surprised that that kind of technology company has a footprint in the Tri-Cities.
Rumie is a nonprofit. They're actually a registered charity in Canada and the United States. And our goal is basically to bring education to all of the underprivileged children in the world. There's so many children in the world that don't have access to basic education. So our goal is to bring it to them through the use of technology. That's essentially Rumie in a nutshell.
And the thing is, your CEO, when he started out, Tariq Fancy, I mean, it was one of those cases where a person with money, I guess, or successful in business deciding to sort of turn around and say, I can make a social change through technology. Because you're kind of a startup, but you're not really. I mean, you've got some pretty amazing stories to tell about what your company's doing. But can you kind of tell us a little bit about the CEO and what's inspirational about his message?
Yeah. It's a pretty unique circumstance. So he was in finance in Silicon Valley and, of course, did very well by bringing the sort of mobile phone revolution to a lot of these areas that you wouldn't expect, like in Africa. And a lot of people told him at the time that it just wasn't possible, that you had to go a different route, use like really advanced technology, or that you just wouldn't be able to reach certain communities. But he had an idea that just using very basic technology, as that price would come down, they would essentially leapfrog what we've done here in the West with our sort of landline infrastructure. There's still a lot of organizations that ship big, heavy textbooks to Africa, which is very expensive. And in a lot of those climates, the books don't do very well. Which
is amazing, because even locally here, your $500 book to go to SFU is quite thick, But I guess the key thing I remember reading is that Bill Gates and those guys were talking about that $400, $500 laptop or computer. So really what you're saying is that the iPad or the Android device is now that display system that allows them to actually access this education.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the one laptop per child project that I believe started somewhere like in the mid-2000s. It was like maybe 2005 or so. It was, again, a great idea, a great initiative, but a little bit too early. It's one of those things with technology, if you're just that little bit too early, the things don't come together and you run into a lot of problems. It's been very successful in a lot of ways, and one laptop per child was groundbreaking in a lot of ways. But again, just things with the technology and the cost at that time made it difficult. I think now, more than 10 years later, the technological trends have now gotten to the point where it makes the problem much easier to solve.
Yeah, and I guess, for people out there, sometimes we hear about technology like Uber as a disruptive sort of, technology is disrupting the norm. But it sounds like you guys are working with NGOs and you're sort of enabling or enhancing what's already there through a technology, I guess, framework that allows them to work with it.
Yeah, one of the most difficult parts of this is the fact that, sure, we have internet available everywhere, right? It's on our phones. We can go almost to like the middle of a forest and still have a good internet connection. But there's many places in the world where internet access is very difficult. Even in the Arctic, they have like satellite connections that are very slow, very expensive. So yeah, our solution was designed from the very beginning to be able to work actually 100% offline. We used sort of a unique, we came up with sort of a unique idea of using those little SD cards. They can store a lot of information. So if we want to send an update to a remote place, we basically just copy all the content onto these tiny little SD cards, and we can just send them in an envelope in the mail. So you bypass the internet completely. So our solution does work when you have good internet access, and then everything, the content can automatically synchronize and that kind of thing. But if you don't have good access to internet, these SD cards provide a great way around it.
Especially with a drone.
You can ship them in via drone.
10,000 SD cards in the
We
drone.
hadn't thought about that, but that's a good idea going forward.
So in your sense, we're talking a little bit about the concept of remote working, but for yourself though, how do you look at how Rumie is affecting the world? Give us a story that for you is a proud moment for the company, but also for a reason why you work there.
Sure, I would say most recently we have a deployment in Guatemala with a partner there called Pencils of Promise. So one thing, Rumie always works with a partner that's sort of on the ground in that area. We don't actually go to work out all the government logistics and that kind of thing. We need a local partner. So in this case, our local partner is another not-for-profit called Pencils of Promise, which I have to say is also an excellent organization. They've been really great to work with. And a very interesting thing with that, we apply what's called sort of an iterative approach to building our software. So we build version 1, and very quickly we send it out into the field and want people to use it and give us feedback so we can improve it, bit by bit. So we deployed all these tablets, and it was a situation where the children using it were in areas that don't have internet, so they went off for a full school semester, about 3 months, and they came back, and we got all the data from the tablets. Once they came back, they were collected and rehooked up to the internet. And we learned that despite our great efforts to basically lock down the tablets and make it such that they could only access educational materials, one particular young student there had figured out a way to bypass the security and use Bluetooth to upload like movies and things to the tablet and watch movies instead. So we learned a great lesson that, that our technology was not infallible. And of course, we had to spend a lot of time then working on the technology aspect. But again, because of that feedback, we were able to modify, deliver them a new version of the software, which has already been deployed now. It's already going for the next 3-month period, and we'll get to see the results after that. But we were thinking maybe we should hire that child as an intern, considering.
It's like prospecting for new talent.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a great example of how we were able to learn and respond and adapt based on actually putting stuff out there and trying it. I think a lot of organizations kind of have these grand ideas and want to come up with the perfect solution. There is no perfect solution. You've got to come up with a solution that works, try it, improve it, rinse and repeat.
And we got a couple minutes left or shorter, but I really wanted to highlight the fact you live in the Tri-Cities. So for parents out there or even people looking at sort of technology companies to work with, you are a true remote worker. Like you're in charge of a development
100%.
team.
Yep.
It's not a startup. It's pretty nimble, or it's called rapid deployment. You've got customers, you've got revenue, but you're really working with a very tight sort of.
We still operate like a startup, to be honest.
Yeah.
We're still pretty small.
But it's kind of that the snowstorm comes and you're still working in a coffee shop or working from home. So just your sense of people who are knowledge workers and taking on or considering working for someone that maybe has a remote sort of working relationship. What do you feel about that?
I think it's great. 100% remote working is not for everyone. It really depends on kind of your personality and what you prefer. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I do actually go to Toronto, where Rumie is based, on a relatively regular basis, probably once every quarter, so 4 times a year. And I think that's actually very important too. So the first thing to say about remote work is that face-to-face time is still really important. But you don't have to have face-to-face time 100% of the time. We have great technology now. We have things like Skype. We have things like Google Hangouts, which is a similar thing. It gives you audio calls, video calls. It's not the same as being in person, but it's close enough for a lot of purposes. We use something called Slack, which is running all the time. It's basically a text chatting instant sort of thing. And again, that lets you kind of feel like you're, feel like you have like a closer relationship to your coworkers. You can talk to them. You can like send pictures and that kind of thing. So it keeps you in touch and keeps the personal aspect of the work relationship going. So I think technology has made it a lot easier to work for an organization that's headquartered somewhere, but actually live primarily somewhere else. I've worked remotely from New Zealand for a year. My wife and I lived in the Caribbean for 3 years, and I've worked remotely. You can do it anywhere that they have reasonably good internet. And I say that because the Caribbean had like barely acceptable internet, and I was still able to get by.
Well, and get a suntan at the same time. So I want you to thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
I guess we'll post where folks can learn more about Rumie.
That would be great.
And we can obviously continue with that story. Again, this is Patrick McCarthy reporting from Tri-Cities Community Television. It's very exciting to sort of find out that there are knowledge workers in the Tri-Cities working for companies in Toronto. And so when your kids are on Skype or a Google Hangout and you think, what are they doing? Maybe one day they can be like Jason and be a CTO of a company that's going somewhere and changing the world.
I'm John Dyack. I'm the chairman of the board of the Port Coquitlam Community Foundation. We were started approximately 5 years ago with the purpose of serving the citizens. And because we're the latest of the foundations, we're doing things a little differently. We focus on innovation, and we also focus on trying to find those small charities, the ones that do really good work for the citizens, but they have a hard time raising money. They just don't have the profile. They're just not known. And so what we do is we go and find them, and we vet them for you, and we make sure that the work they're doing is the kind of work you'd want us to have them do, and then we fund them, and we raise our money through businesses, through fundraisers, our annual croquet tournament, and also through your donations. So we'd love to have you check us out. Our website is exceptional. It's www.pocofoundation.com. There's videos, there's stories, and we think you'll find the website really interesting, and we love your support. Thank you.
For community organizations looking for support from the POCO Community Foundation, the deadline for applications for grants is March 1st.
Hi, it's Kathy Cheney here, and I am at Inlet Center right in Port Moody, and we are talking about wine, women, and sports tonight. I'm here with Jen, and she's going to tell us a little bit about why this event is being put on tonight, and what is your role?
So my name is Jen, and I'm one of the organizers. I'm also a member of the SOROPTIMIST of the Tri-City. This evening is an evening meant to empower women, and I think the timing is perfect. It's a new year, and everybody has these great dreams, so I think that it's a great opportunity to hear from some amazing speakers about their journeys in fitness and hopefully leave inspired. So the SOROPTIMIST group is an organization that's meant to, or that's geared towards bettering the lives of women and children and their children.
Great, so what can we expect from the panelists tonight?
You can expect to be inspired, that's for sure. They all have some amazing journeys that they're going to share with us.
But what do you want to share with us today?
You know, I think it's just every opportunity I get to come into a room with a bunch of women, and I mean, I think tonight's going to be a really authentic jam session, you know, that kind of panel to inspire each other and to learn from one another. It's a great opportunity, and I just want to be like my true authentic self and let everyone kind of learn that someone with a title like Olympian, which is like so, ooh, Olympian. it's just another normal person.
Everyone can be a version of an Olympian, because all it was finding something that made me feel powerful. And like you said, finding that power, I found it when I put the oar in the water and I got to connect with that group of people to do that thing. But then, you know, the technicians that were looking at the science behind rowing and trying to make us fast would call us athletes, and I'd hear it and be like, that's so weird. I feel like that's like a different person than me. Like the athlete that struts in with a sports bra and gets tested all here. Like that's even weird for me. And like, yeah, I'm the person.
You know, I think I've already gotten everything I need. We can wrap up this evening. Is there a silent Jen? Are you guys okay? Because it's like, you know, when you're just Joe Blow, oh, I'm not an athlete. I'm active, but I'm not an athlete. Okay, you're an Olympic medalist, you know, and you are a multi-time marathoner, and it took getting your black belt for that entire journey for you to feel that. So we're not alone. Yay. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah, eyes.
I think it's just going to be a stellar evening of conversation that's relevant no matter where you are in your goals and your relationship with fitness and what you plan to achieve in 2017.
A lot of what we're talking about tonight is really motivation for people to understand that whatever limitation or barrier that you have with athletics, fitness, that you're going to step through that and you're really going to feel empowered and know that you're going to feel that energy that's going to make you want to just go for it.
And I think that doesn't matter if you're in sports or education or a different sort of part of your life. Isn't that like a common thread in messaging that we should all be sharing with women alike?
It's always about that. It's really about lifting others up. It's about building on those strengths. Yes. And it's making people feel powerful, which is what I do in my work.
Fantastic.
You know, you want to prove that you're capable of doing this, no matter if it's walking a block or running a marathon. It's all the same thing.
And back when you were 55 then, so were women even running the Boston Marathon then?
I think so, Kathy, except she had to, she was almost booted out, Kathleen Switzer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The men were spitting on her, actually.
Well, didn't someone like actually jump out and attack her? Or am I making this up?
Yeah. So I think she was really the start of it all. You know,
amazing.
It was a place that women could do it. They had these weird ideas of what it would do to your body. You can imagine.
Well, you know what? We said it on the drive up. Your uterus might fall out.
So I carried a bucket with me to catch it.
Yeah, just in case. Betty Jean runs kind of like this because she wears a bucket at her knees. Okay.
We heard from some amazing, inspiring women here tonight at the Wine, Women, and Sports event for the SOROPTIMIST Club of the Tri-City. We were inspired. We heard about how to break down barriers in the women's world. My name's Kathy. Hopefully they'll put this event on next year. SOROPTIMIST Club of the Tri-Cities. Look them up on the website. Let's catch up soon.
Hello POMO, my name is Heidi Madrell and I'm the Volunteer Board Director at the Port Moody Community Foundation. This year, as with the last 28 years, we're opening our new granting cycle for 2017. Our grants are designed to help community impact and projects in our local area that service our local community. Over the last 28 years, we've invested in particular projects in arts and culture, recreation, youth, aged services, ecology and heritage. This year we're starting again and our granting applications are now open. We have $6,000 that we grant out in usual grants, but this year we have something different. We're partnering up with the Community Foundations of Canada for their wonderful celebration of Canada 150. These grants are available anywhere up to $15,000 and they're designed to create the change that you've been looking for in your community. How it works is, say you apply for a grant for $2,000, $1,000 comes from the Community Foundations of Canada and the second $1,000 comes from the Port Moody Community Foundation. You're then required to go out and encourage participation and partnerships with your community. So private individuals and private businesses are encouraged to join with our registered charities to create a full package of a $4,000 community project. Please contact us for more information at www.portmoodyfoundation.ca. Also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Port Moody Foundation. We look forward to building and inspiring new community efforts for 2017. Let's celebrate Canada 150 together. Thank you.
Cathy Cheney here with Tri-Cities Community TV in Lee Square in Port Coquitlam. We're going to be talking about, you guessed it, dodgeball. Hey, does that count? I just caught that. Bill Hargitt is here with us from the Coquitlam Dodgeball League.
Yeah.
And I remember playing this sport as a child. And you have to be quick on your feet, I think.
You do. You got to be able to dodge. You got to be able to catch. Some good mental processes going on real quick.
But this is an entire league in sport, and you have over 40 teams, is that right?
We do, yeah. We're actually trying to push for 48 in the coming fall.
That's fantastic, and it's a co-ed sport?
It is. You need 2 girls, 2 dudes, and then any bit beyond that is good.
Is extra?
Yeah.
So the teams consist of 4?
The teams consist of 6, a minimum of 2 dudes, 2 girls, and then a mix of whatever else.
And so are there only, are there any just female-only teams at all, or do you make it co-ed on purpose?
We make it co-ed on purpose, but all female teams is kind of a gray area of the rulings. Technically it is against the rules, but we don't really call that rule too often, so they just kind of happen. It's actually really nice.
How long have you been playing for?
I've been playing for coming on 6 years.
6 years. And when you were in high school and elementary school, were you an athletic guy?
Sort of. I mean, like, not overly jock-ish, but I definitely like my sports.
Yeah, I wasn't. I sat on the bench a lot. I tried out for a lot of different teams, but never seemed to make them. And I always remember watching. What can you sort of say, what was your message, I guess, to youth today that want to get involved in sports? Because, not only is this dodgeball, it's fun. I'm sure you guys have beers later and you make it all a good camaraderie thing with women and men, of course. But what's some of the advice you'd give our youth today?
I guess advice from a dodgeball to youth standpoint is our league is more community-based, so it's about getting together, having some fun, playing some sports that aren't too serious, and then meeting up afterwards and kind of talking, shooting breeze, and like getting to know everybody.
Right.
Friendly.
And so dodgeball, and I'm sure it's just very easy. Give me a couple of the instructions, or actually tell me if those people that are out there that don't know what dodgeball is, essentially we're dodging a ball, right?
Yep.
And we're trying not to get hit.
Yep.
And
trying to hit other people.
Last person standing
is the winning team.
Is the winning team.
Yep. Once the other team is eliminated.
And how many points does it go up to?
Game nights, we play 5 games in a night against 3 other teams. So you play a set of 3 against all the other teams, and then we take a brief pause, and then you play a set of 2. You take your scores from the night, and they average out over our 12-week season. When the season's done, we have playoffs, and depending on how well you did throughout the season, you rank up in different tiers in playoffs.
And Bill, what are the age groups that come out and play?
We are 18 plus, purely because we go to the bar afterwards, so if you can't get in the bar, we really not fun for you.
Could youth play though if they didn't want to go to the bar? Could a 16-year-old play?
Not in our league, no.
Not in your league.
The way our waivers are signed up and the way our insurance works, we have to be 18 or older, but there's nothing stopping a youth from playing dodgeball just from the sport itself.
From the sport itself. And so you're looking to grow, and how are you going to go about that?
Well, in the fall coming up, we're trying to push the district to give us more gyms, because that's what's stopping us right now, is just space. We're packed. We sell out every season, but we run out of gyms. We don't have enough times, and we don't want to sacrifice the community feel of the sport to try and fit more teams in, because it makes it less fun. It makes it more rushed.
Right, more rushed. Of course, people love the sport. They're passionate like you are. Yeah. Why this sport? Why not tennis or badminton or basketball or some other ball game?
I played a lot of other sports, and randomly enough, one day me and my friend were talking, and his girlfriend came over and said, "Hey, there's a dodgeball league in Coquitlam." And our exact reaction was, "What? I haven't played dodgeball since high school."
Wow.
And it just took off. Like, we joined up, and everybody loved it, and everybody I talked to just wants to join dodgeball and have fun.
So there's still some hope for me, maybe?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, who's your oldest competitor?
Oh, probably mid to late 30s.
Can you pass me that ball, please? Oh, look at that. See, girls can play too. I have learned so much more about dodgeball today. Not all the time do I get to do visits with people like yourself where I know a lot about the topic, so thank you so much for the education on dodgeball. And where can we find out more about you, and hopefully the expanding league itself, because there's demand and supply, right?
Yeah.
So right now you probably have more demand and you're looking at the city to share more space with you. Where are you currently?
We are currently in Coquitlam.
Yes.
So
at the various schools.
Yeah, various elementary schools around Coquitlam.
Right. And do you have a website so people can sign up if they're interested in playing dodgeball?
It's www.cdldodgeball.ca.
Okay.
Or our Facebook page.
Great. Is that under CDL as well?
It is Coquitlam Dodgeball League.
Right. Fantastic. So we have learned a little more about dodgeball and dodging the ball. I didn't get into the colorful names of teams that people have, but all I can say is this ball is blue. My name's Kathy Chenna, and I'm here with Tri-City Community TV in Lee Square. Have a great day.
Hello, my name is Donna BONERTZ, and I'm the Employment and Rehabilitation Coordinator for the New View Society. Here in the Tri-Cities, New View Society has been providing services to people with serious and persistent mental health problems for over 43 years. We have worked quietly in the community to reduce stigma, and we really appreciate our connections with the community that we live in and that we love dearly. I'd like to tell you about an event that we have coming up that may be of interest to you. It's called Mental Health First Aid. Mental Health First Aid is a 12-hour, 2-day certificate course that teaches the skills and confidence to people so that they may assist others who might be experiencing a mental health problem or developing a mental health crisis. Mental Health First Aid does not teach us how to be therapists or counselors, but in fact teaches us to be first aiders, much like physical first aid. There are millions of us who have physical first aid training, and we have some level of confidence in knowing what to do if somebody has broken their leg or is in a car accident or has some other physical injury. Mental Health First Aid is also a program just like that. It's an educational program, and it does provide a certain level of skills and identification abilities so that you know when somebody might be experiencing a mental health crisis. So this course helps reduce the stigma and increase the confidence level of somebody trying to help. Coming up here at New View, our next course offering happens in February on the 23rd and the 24th. We do offer an early bird rate up until February 8th, which includes all materials, lunch, and coffee break items for $150 plus GST. After February 8th, the cost will go up to $175. Currently, we do have room on our registry list, but it does tend to fill up. If you are interested in finding out more information, we have a very friendly website at www.newviewsociety.ca, and there you will find a link to further information about our program. And indeed, you can also go to mentalhealthfirstaid.ca, that's www.mentalhealthfirstaid.ca, to find out more information about the course.
This community program would not be possible without the financial support of our corporate sponsors and community members. Tri-Cities Community Television would like to especially thank the cities of Port Moody, Coquitlam, and Port Coquitlam for their belief and support of community television. If you wish to be part of our volunteer team, become a sponsor, or make a financial contribution to support community programming, please feel free to contact us at the following locations.